Hi, it's Ileana. So today we're going to go through a bit of a litmus test and an explanation of psionic abilities and psionics. I claim to be a P7 psionic. There are such things as P3 psionics and other types of psionics. Jake Barber recently came out on News Nation talking about crash site retrievals of a non-human NHI egg-shaped craft, which I think is actually a satellite system, not a craft per se, because of the size and the shape. There are egg-shaped crafts, larger ones. I just put a video of that explaining the differences. But today's question is, why is there a set of large chomper teeth on the screen? And what does it have to do with psionics, if anything at all? Psionic abilities allow you to connect to different things that are alive. Jake Barber has claimed on the News Nation show that there are human beings that have psionic abilities that consciously can connect to these crafts, non-human extraterrestrial crafts with their consciousness abilities, control them, invite them to come in and land for the black site operations groups, black ops groups, to capture them, these crafts, or shoot them down. Or the psionics can just communicate with the crafts telepathically or through whatever methods and means that the consciousness allows, and actually pilot the crafts and have interactions with them and just film these events. And a video was shown of that. While psionics can do much more than that. They can communicate with anything that's living, organic. Some of these crafts could be living, organic, or they have sentient type of consciousness themselves on the craft, living consciousness. Not all crafts are just run by AI systems or remotely piloted by other beings. Some of them can have consciousness of its own, or beings that are consciously controlling them remotely, and you can pull these crafts in and also consciously talk to them. It's an interesting field of phenomenon that Jake has started to talk about on the News Nation show, and it was interesting. Well, as a P7 psionic, I had my own little phenomenon experience, not summoning a craft, but talking to my chomper battle-ass teeth. I've had a situation come up where in the middle of a work experience thing where I was working, I had an impacted tooth erupt, just subtly erupt out of the gum, and I felt it come up slightly, and I went around with, after the work event was over, I went around with my nail. I could barely feel it, but it was there, and I said, I need to see my dentist for a consultation, and I need to immediately make an appointment because I felt something was weird. And everybody around me is like, no, your teeth didn't come up. There's nothing there. I'm like, yes, there is. I feel it. It's popped. It's popped. And everybody's like, no, you're crazy. There's nothing there. I'm like, I know myself and my own body. The thing just popped out. I made an appointment regardless of what anybody was saying to me because I knew the tooth popped out. I could feel the serration of the tooth. I could feel a sore gum. So I know my mouth better than anybody else does. And I'm not going to argue with anyone. You can see the VTech X-ray. And there's a few things wrong with this picture, and I will explain. Firstly, all x-rays are inverted, so what you're seeing here is kind of going from right to left when it looks like left. So this particular tooth is actually on the right side of my mouth because, again, the VTech x-ray is inverted. So this is on the right side of my mouth, and this is the impacted tooth that you see it's barely under the gum and has been under the gum for the last, I would say, 15 to 20 years. And it's recently popped the gum about a week and a half ago. And I did go to my dentist consultation, and this is a big ass, this one, I'm going to use some language, is a big ass chomper. Pardon the language. Big tooth. Big fella. And the root of this particular tooth is wrapped around a nerve right here. This is the root of this big tooth. This big fellow. We'll call him Battle Chomper number 1. I just used some language. I said, badass, big ass, because this is a big ass tooth. I usually don't swear, but this thing is really pushing up against my gum right now because it's serrated and it just popped the gum, and it's pushing up against this chewing tooth. Anytime you go to chew, it's extremely bad pain here. And this is a very small mouth. You could say delicate type of a mouth for this much teeth. So extracting this thing will be a challenge because, again, it's wrapped around a nerve. I didn't even realize it was wrapped around a nerve, that the root was. My dentist is pretty good. He's like, well, the extraction of this thing will be tough. You must cut half of this off and leave the root in and close it up. It's wrapped around a nerve. It is an operation. It's an oral dental surgery. So, I don't know how much of the tooth they'll take out. I got a feeling that the whole thing will come out because even leaving this in, you can't just leave that much in. It's pushing up against this. The whole thing might be extracted, or this from here to there will be taken off and just this much will be left intact of it. I'm not an oral dental surgeon. I'm not an expert, but most of this has to come out because it's ridiculous how big that is, and it's wrapped around a nerve. And then we have these other upper teeth. I've had 2 wisdom teeth removed from here in my early 20s. I had the wisdom to get these wisdoms removed. There were 2 other teeth here that my dentist was able to remove, and that was a surgery in and of itself. So I know what it feels like, but for this particular battle chomper, as I call it, the big ass daddy of a chomper here, this emboldened battle dude, and I'm just, trying to make some light of it. He'll need to be removed. He needs to be extracted. I don't need this extra tooth in my mouth. It's too big for such a small mouth. I don't need it for the bite. This does well enough on its own and how it bites well. It is nicely configured, so we don't need this thing. It needs to be extracted. And there's a story about the extraction of this fellow, where the psionic abilities come in. Okay, we're just going to briefly look at these lovely ones, because left side of the jaw and right side of the jaw. This is the right side of the jaw. This is the left side of the jaw. This thing is inverted, remember. So on the right side of the jaw, in the upper jaw, this is the lower jaw. The upper jaw also has these 2 impact teeth. One is more straight. It's under the gum. And this one is crooked, nestled next to it. also impacted. Those might come out, those might not come out. It depends if they come out on their own. If they start to, they'll need to be extracted. And then we have one of these ones also maybe pushing up a bit here. This one is also impacted. That's on the left side of the jaw, upper jaw. If it starts to come out, will also need to be extracted, potentially. See, these gums are more thick and fat. This gum is less fat. So it's like feeling almost like pieces of bone exposed, but it's not bone, it's a tooth. It's a serrated, sharp edge of this tooth that popped out of the gum, and I felt it and I knew it. So I'm intimately connected with my mouth. I know what popped and what birthed itself. This one birthed itself. Now I'm using humor. This is not funny, yet it is very funny. And I have to wait until February 18th to have an X-ray CT scan done of my mouth to plan the surgery extraction of this fellow. And I'm going to ask to have a CT scan of the whole mouth done while I'm at it. I want to see the big picture of what's happening with these battle chompers upstairs, not just the lower jaw. But going back to this tooth, my dentist asked for the secretaries to send a referral to an oral group clinic who has 4 doctors at the clinic. The referral was sent to 2 doctors, but, and I thought, all right, my dentist said these 2 doctors highly, I'm not going to mention the doctors' names, better not to, I don't want any trouble. My dentist, and I'm not going to mention my dentist's name. All individuals involved are male doctors. My dentist is male. The other 4 oral surgeons are also males. My dentist is highly regard him. He's like, I'm sending you to the top best oral surgeons. I'm sending him the referral either or because they do great work at extraction surgeries. Okay, great. Trust you, sure. Sounds good. Waiting for an appointment. A couple of days passes, a week passes, no appointment. I thought, like, I'll quickly get in, get a quick CT. The thing will be extracted quickly, easy peasy. Let's rock this thing. Not so easy peasy now, is it? This thing starts talking to me, this battle chomper here on the right side that's attached to the nerve. It said, I do not want to be operated on and extracted by the, by wink, wink, nudge, nudge, by the 2 fellas that I was referred to, because they're a little wacky, padaki. That's the best language I could use, wacky padaki. It started talking to me telepathically, consciously started talking to me. Yes, anything living that's your organs, your teeth, your anything that's alive, that's within you, or operates with your soul and consciousness, because your soul is connected to your body and consciously operating together. Teeth are intelligent. The mouth is intelligent. Any of these organs or aspects can talk to you telepathically, psionically, consciously, whatever you want to call it. It is the same language of conscious communication. This one was communicating with me. I'm not communicating with an extraterrestrial. I'm communicating with my own tooth. But it said there is no way any of these wacky padakis that I was referred to, of those 2 oral surgeons, are going to be working on me anytime soon to extract me. I'm like, why? Well, why? What's wrong with those 2? They were highly recommended. And like, well, you should go and check the reviews on these highly recommended oral surgeons. And when I did check the reviews, I'm like, oh dear. And I never say, oh dear Lord God. I never say those words, but when I read the reviews on those two wacky padakis, we'll just call them, I'm like, dear Lord God, definitely not going to be doing any oral surgeries with those two, because the reviews that people left, ratemymd.com. You want to know about any doctors? Oral surgeons, dentists, family doctors, GPs, any kind of doctor, because I knew the full names of the two oral surgeons I was referred to. My tooth said, there's no way these two are operating on me. The referral was already sent in, right? And a week had passed and I heard nothing. No phone calls back to me to book appointments. Nothing at all. You're actually supposed to call yourself once the referral goes in and book an appointment. You're not supposed to wait for the dental group to call you back, because you could book it yourself. And they didn't. Nobody told me that. That's a whole other story. So, okay, and back to the tooth psychically, psionically communicating with me. And it was insisting, no way those two wacky padakis are doing the surgery. And the tooth's like, wake up, sweetie boo, you need to go read the reviews about these two oral surgeons you were referred to. I'm like, alrighty, tooth, battle chomper, I'll go read the reviews. When I did read the reviews of actual patient reviews who leave reviews on ratemymd.com, very good site. Glad I punched in the names of first name, last name, and doctor, title of doctor of the two oral surgeons that I was referred to, and the recent reviews were concerning. They yell at children. They have left infections after the teeth were extracted. People had infections. One person's tooth, when it was extracted, there was a hole left in the tooth that went up into the sinus cavity as well, and other surgery had to be done to repair that. Those were the most concerning, top-rated reviews, the latest. And these guys are supposedly 5-star recommendations. I don't blame my dentist. He wouldn't know everything that these guys extract and do, right? So my tooth was right. It psychically went and read the two oral surgeons and, psychically looked at their profiles already. The tooth itself did this guy did the work. It did the research psionically. It checked out the two oral surgeons without even me knowing about it on its own. It knew their names when, and from a psionic perspective, that tooth is psionic. It went and did the work, did the scouting work ahead for me, came back and informed me, no way, potato, these two wacky padakis are doing the surgery on me. I don't want to come back with an infection after I'm extracted from you. As much as I love you, we can't co-share, cohabitate space anymore. I know I need to be gone from your system, but I don't want you to have an infection. I don't want you to suffer. I don't want you to have any complications. So you need to look up the other surgeon, the third one, in the dental group. Also some bad reviews. Look up the fourth one. He seems to be clean. And I said, what do you mean clean? And the two said the God type is clean. And I said, why are you calling the fourth surgeon the God type? It's part of the name, code name, the God type, because I'm not going to say this oral surgeon's name. But the God has a part of the name. And there's a reason why, because he has 5-star reviews with 0 stars that are 1 star or 2 stars or anything bad. Does not yell at kids, does not yell at adults, does not leave infections in the teeth, gives good oral instructions after surgery, what to do, how to take care of the teeth. The other 2 really don't. They rush in and out. Bad reviews too with that. This 4th guy, he works at the cancer agency as well, so he does different types of tumor removals, cancer removals. He does implants, jaw reconstruction, teeth extractions. He does all kinds of complicated surgeries, also on call at the hospital. So the 4th one is really hard to get in to see. I have to wait until February 18th just to have the consultation with the God one, we'll just call him, because the God is part of the name. The God one, codename the God one. We'll just give him that name for now. Anyways, February 18th is when I was able to finagle having an appointment. I just intuitively knew something's not right. To see the best, the 5-star one with the great reviews, without 1-star reviews, without any bad comments from patients who he's actually done surgery on. 0 complaints, 5-star, perfect. Because this guy does good, thorough surgery, spends his time doing quality work, also works at the cancer agency in the hospital doing complicated surgeries that nobody else wants to touch. That's why he's so busy and, hard to book. But he's worth it to avoid, hopefully, infection and the other issues and concerns I have. And that other people also mentioned with the other 2 oral surgeons. So I have to wait until February 18th just to have the consultation and the CT X-ray. I called the clinic where he works the most at the location. They gave me prices up front, how much a consultation costs, how much a CT scan costs. No hidden costs, everything up front. This guy is very busy because blah, blah, blah. It's hard to book him because he does this, and that. I'm like, yep, I already know that. And the tooth extraction itself will be on March 11th. No big surprise that I have to wait because this guy is good and he's booked up. That's just the way life is. And I had a feeling that I need to book these appointments and do this myself and not wait for any secretaries to call me back and book these appointments and let me know, blah, blah, blah. Because there's an urgency here. There's a sense of urgency for this tooth extraction. And it needs to go down fast. Because it's pushing up against another tooth and it's uncomfortable. It's a big-ass chomper. And it's time to part ways. As thankful as I am for this big tooth giving me the psychic skinny, on the oral surgeons, it's willing to go, it's willing to be extracted, it's fine with it. And it said that, maybe with how skilled the God one is, it might be, he might be able to extract the whole thing, even though it's wrapped around the nerve. The tooth said to me that the root wrapped around the nerve might not be left in because of how skilled the God one is. So, yeah, codename the God one, the oral surgeon. So, just to ask my questions thoroughly and have a good talk with the God one. Codename God one, the oral surgeon that the tooth recommended, the one that does the oral surgery for me of the tooth extraction. So, I'm going with the oral surgeon that my tooth asked for specifically. because of the reviews, and I double checked. So if you lesson of the story while talking to your tooth, from a P7 psionics ability, talking to a tooth. I know it sounds weird, but teeth talk. They have conversations. Lesson always learn. Always punch in the doctor's name, first name, last name, to see the reviews that this doctor has, what actual living human beings who have been patients of these doctors, what they leave as reviews. Whether you're looking for a new dentist to be your doctor, because there's more than one type of doctor that you go and see, whether you're looking for a new family doctor, type in the name of who your potential new doctor will be, because they'll be your doctor for a while. If there's bad reviews, obviously, you don't want that as your doctor, because there could be problems, right? So I was able to basically call up the secretary of my dentist, put in a new requisition to change the doctors. Then immediately on the same day, I called the dental group. They found the new requisition, and I was able to change appointment. No appointments had been made with either of those oral surgeons yet for a consultation for me, so I was able to change the doctor that I want to see to the Godwin, codename Godwin, because that's the only one I feel comfortable seeing. Yes, I have to wait a little, but it's worth it to get it done correctly and done right for what needs to be done, and that's that. That's the story. So psionics can communicate with more than just UFOs, UAP crafts, or non-human intelligences. Psionics can communicate with their teeth. Psionics can communicate with their whole organs, their whole body, organs, limbs, their own brains. Everything is organic and living. And anything that's organic and living, or a consciousness of some sort, you can communicate with and talk to, because it's alive. It has a consciousness. Yes, your teeth, your organs, they all have consciousnesses. It's called body talk. You can talk to them. You can talk to your own organs. You can do body healing by asking your organs what's wrong, by asking your hormones what's wrong, what's out of balance, what's out of alignment, what needs to be healed, how. Consciously talk to your own body. Consciously talk to your own soul, your inner soul, your outer soul, your higher self, the oversoul, whatever you call it. If there's anything going on with you, you can talk to yourself. You can talk to your organs. You can do all kinds of healing, remove blockages by talking to your body, and start the energy healing process. Or just, talk to your teeth, because your teeth have a perspective of what kind of a dentist would be, or oral surgeon in this case, would be better for them to do the surgery. So when I went to the dental group, because it's a website with these 4 doctors, all their faces being shown, all their names being shown, the tooth told me, this one, that's the Godwin. That's the Godwin. This is the one you need to go with for the surgery, the oral dental surgery. And when I went to ratemymd.com, punched in the Godwin's name, yes, 5-star reviews. Does not yell at kids or adults, treats everybody well, gives good information about the type of surgery that will happen, how it will happen, very thorough, good info, good track record with no infections, does not leave holes in people's mouths that go through the sinus cavities, does not hurry up the surgeries, they're not sloppy. Good reviews, so I have to trust that that's the best, and that's what my tooth chose. And always double check who you're going to see for a consultation, for a surgery. Whose hands are you trusting to operate on you? Your teeth, your organs, even who's going to x-ray you? Whatever dental, medical, or mental procedure, whatever you're doing in the medical industry, or any other industry for that matter, anything in life you're doing, triple check everything. Because decisions can have consequences if you're not careful, if you're in a hurry, you're in pain, you're suffering. Yes, it's awful. Impacted teeth are no joke. You need to get them extracted as soon as possible. Don't leave that in your mouth because it's not safe. But there's a time and a place for choosing gifted hands to operate on you. And this is a psionics experience of finding the golden egg of hands, the golden godwin of operators to operate on you. And I'm not making fun of anything. I'm not making fun of military operators. I'm not making fun of the psionics that connect consciously with these crafts, that NHI crafts, and, invite them in, or even operate them to battle out with other craft. Because there's different operators, the good ones and the bad ones, supposedly, from what Jake Barber and his team shared. I'm just making an analogy that a psionic, whether it's a P3, a P7, they can consciously connect to anything and everything that's organic. Organs, body parts, craft, and they can have a conversation, communicate information to each other, exchange information. Yes, I talk to my battle chompers. That sounds way out there and weird, but yes, I did talk to my teeth, and we're all in conscious communion of who's going to be doing the surgery on which tooth and why the consensus, and what information we have that is disposable to us. And this is actionable research intel. This is actionable research evidence I could put up on my screen right now and show you all what the tooth wanted, and me looking up all these 4 oral surgeons' names, and 3 of the oral surgeons just not passing muster because of bad reviews from actual living humans who've had surgeries or procedures done by these oral surgeons, leaving reviews of ratemymd.com. Again, I'm not going to give out names of these oral surgeons because I don't want trouble. I could show the actionable research that I did on all of these oral surgeons, but I don't want to be in hot potatoes here. So I have to respect all names and respect all people and the situation here, which I will. But anybody can look up a doctor and find reviews about doctors in the medical profession. Everything on the internet is open for research. Nothing is hidden on the internet. People leave, real live people, patients, leave reviews of their experiences with doctors, no matter which profession the doctor is in. It could be an oral surgeon, it could be a family practitioner, it could be a family doctor, it could be a nurse practitioner, who could also be your doctor at this point if they're certified. You have options. There are so many different types of doctors. There's surgeons, there's family doctors, there's nurse practitioners, and they all have their specialties, what they specialize. So some of these folks have golden hands, which they operate with. They have golden hands, which they operate with in common sense. And those are the ones you want to go with, who have the highest ratings and reviews from patients without any complications. That's what you want as a skilled doctor, with gifted surgeon hands, the gold hands, the golden goose, as you see, the golden egg, creme de la creme of the golden eggs. No pun intended for the craft eggs, or satellite eggs, the white eggs. I'm just going off tangent now to the egg craft. I'm not trying to make fun. It's just interesting testimony of psionics and egg crafts or egg satellites. And there's a bit of a difference, but again, I had an experience with battle chompers of teeth, having a conscious psionic experience with talking to a P7 psionic, my own tooth talking to me. The battle chomper tooth went battle gear and decided to have a God honest consciousness conversation with me. And again, this is not a skit, this is not a joke, this is a real life situation that I'm in and going through. But I'm just choosing to share my psionic experience that I've had during this week with my battle chompers of teeth. And if God help anyone who has these type of teeth, that's the worst tooth profile you want to see in life. These kinds of teeth. It's like 4 impacted teeth. It's not what you want in your mouth because they're weapons ready to pop out, and it's painful when they do pop. I wouldn't wish that pain onto anybody of that popping out. I can handle it because I've had wisdom teeth extracted, literally, where my gums were opened up and deeply impacted wisdom teeth were basically taken apart because they couldn't be pulled out. It had to be broken in pieces and taken out in pieces because they were big, they were difficult to extract, and my dentist is gifted. But when you have chompers that are beyond wisdom teeth, because not all of these are wisdom teeth, some of this is bigger, some of this is with chewing teeth that I just don't need the extra because they're too big and they don't fit, and they'll never come out on their own fully, and one is wrapped around a nerve. So yeah, that's the situation. It will be extracted, it will be taken care of. It has given me its permission to say goodbye to it and part ways. This battle chomper around the nerve, wrapped around the nerve, and the doctor that will do the surgery, and I agree 100%. We've had our consciousness psionic meeting and our heart-to-heart of the consciousness conversation. So some psionic interactions are between the psionic and their teeth, because there's an intelligence. You are talking to intelligent living organs. Your teeth have wisdom, they have stories. And if they have some important information to impart, you better listen, because it could save your life, literally, and help you out to avoid bad situations, as in my case. I've potentially averted disasters. So that's the story. But that's a psionic conversation, a psionic having a consciousness conversation with their own teeth. It might not be a non-human craft, but it's still an organic living object that I was talking to psionically, consciously, tooth to me. Tooth having a psionic conversation with me. It's a living organic matter. Yes, it's not a craft, but maybe not as exciting, but it's still exciting to me to share this experience because it's part of the phenomenon. It's part of the intelligence that's evolving and how we psionically, consciously communicate with organic living things, not just crafts, but our own bodies and other organic living beings, each other too. So that's the story. Thank you so much.